Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast. My name is Scott. I'll be your host today. Got the New Year's Resolution special podcast coming at you today from a new studio, I might add. I'm actually recording from our new basement studio. We have evicted my daughter from her former playroom in the basement. And we got a nice little setup here. We bought a green screen so that we can eventually sort of use it for our YouTube channel, and we set up a nice little desk here in the corner. And this was my daughter's playroom for like the last 3 or 4 years, and we're not heartless animals here. We evicted her primarily because, well, she doesn't use it that much anymore. She's getting older. She's 9, and I think the whole idea of sort of that playroom thing for her is kind of, I don't know, it's becoming a little, I guess, a little babyish for her now. She's growing up. She kind of hangs out in her room a little bit more often. And, if she has friends over, they hang out up there. And the fact of the matter is she destroyed this room down here. How many times can you tell a kid to clean up and they never do? And she just, these are the consequences. If you don't use a room properly, you have all the space. We gave it to you, and Legos are all over the place. There are Barbies all over the place. Her friends actually cut the hair of all their Barbies. And of course, they're all naked Barbies hanging out all over the place. Like, come on. You can't even keep the clothes on the Barbies. Anyway, we told her to clean it up. We said, look, we're going to take this room over if you don't. And she didn't. So, actions have consequences, and she had to learn the hard way. So here I am in the basement studio. Now, I don't know if there's going to be any difference. Obviously, just set up all the recording equipment. So there might be, I don't know, there might be some change in the sound quality. I don't know how it's going to work out. Maybe I'm a little nervous if they start walking around upstairs, or if the dog starts barking. It's going to be a little bit louder here, but we'll see. We'll give it a go. It's a nice space. I got to say, we did this with the gym. You see that? You hear that? I'm hearing some chairs upstairs being moved around. Anyway, hopefully this doesn't interfere too much. Maybe I'll have to get some soundproofing down here. I don't know. Anyway, so we did a video a few months ago on the gym and how we cleaned up and just sort of, made the gym a spot that we'd want to hang out in. And my hope was to do the same for here. So, normally I have, my computer set up is sort of like a little enclave in the master bedroom upstairs. And it was cool and all, but, it's kind of weird when you invite guests to come on the podcast and be in studio, and then you bring them upstairs. It's just weird. It's just weird. So, now we have a nice little space here, and it's clean and it's neat. And hopefully it'll be that way going forward. So, a lot of good things happening. I don't even know what today's date. I think it's the 7th. I think it's January 7th. So what a great time for a New Year's resolution special, right? But you guys know me and you know how I operate. And so, unfortunately, I have recorded this about 7 or 8 times in the past. And, man, it just doesn't pass muster with me. It just doesn't, I don't know what it is. It just, something's wrong. Something's off. And I'm not sure if it's like just me and obviously we got a lot of changes, the new baby. I'm now between jobs, and, I'm home. It's like 11:30 in the morning right now. I'm recording a podcast on a Monday. We have a lot going on with the podcast and with the Ordinary Marathoner. We have the Ordinary Marathon coming. The registration is going to open in mid-January, which means we're close. It's kind of like, hello, you're here. But we've done a lot of work on it, and hopefully, we continue to do that, and hopefully it turns out well. I mean, I'm sure it's going to turn out well. We've just worked really hard on it. Just trust me, really hard. So that's going to be great. I think, what else have we been working on? We've worked on, so Stephanie is now doing her, it's called Mom's Miles and Baby Smiles, and it's her Couch to 5K. She actually just this morning got the okay from the doctor, that she can now kind of go back to normal life and exercise and do whatever, after the pregnancy. So, the first video is out today. You can go check it out on our YouTube channel. And another thing, I know the last few podcasts, what I've been doing is doing sort of one, sponsor per podcast thing. And I kind of like that. We're going to keep doing that forward. But since this is sort of like the year in review type of thing, I want to just say thanks to a bunch of people. I want to say thanks to Scott Frossard from Forever Home Running. That's Furever, homerunning.com. He's the guy he's sort of our race director for the Ordinary Marathon. And we had a great race last year. Looking forward to doing another one next year. He's really helped us out a lot. And, I'm putting these names out here, but, I know a lot of you guys out there going, gee, I wonder what what does it take to put on a virtual race? Or, if you have any questions like that, Scott Frossard is your guy. Also want to thank Greasy Girl Headbands, Greecie, girlheadbands.com. Mary Countryman over there. She is like the most supportive person I know. Every time we have an idea, hey Mary, you want to be involved? She always supports us and really she's got a great website over there doing great business. Lauren Bruckner, raceadvisors.com. Raceadvisors.com is a great resource for you guys. If you're, thinking about running a race, you're not really sure what it's all about, what they got going on, check out their reviews. It's a huge database of almost every race you can think of. Although Ordinary Marathon is not in there. I know. We talked to Lauren actually about this. We wanted her to get it on there, but apparently it just didn't work. But, we're actually doing a live 5K this year. I'm pretty sure we're like 90% of the way there to finalizing this thing, so I don't want to jinx it, but pretty sure we're doing a live 5K. So maybe, Lauren, we can get the Ordinary Marathon on there this year. That would be great. On raceadvisors.com. And last but not least, the Queen Bean Coffee. So lately, she signed up right away to be a sponsor of Ordinary Marathon for next year. Love your stuff, Nicole. It's been, we actually have the Keurig machine here. I was a Dunkin' Donuts guy for years and years. And I guess I still am. I don't do Starbucks. We have a local coffee shop that's, I don't know, it's a little crunchy, little granola crunchy. Is that still a word? Is that still a thing? That's like what we used to call them in college. But, I don't know if that's still a thing. Anyway, I was always a Dunkin' Donuts guy, but our local Dunkin' Donuts lately is just, I don't know, the turnover is crazy. There's never the same person working there twice. They screw up your order all the time. It's like they get so flustered, and the person at the counter is taking 7 orders before the first order is filled because they're so flustered that they might get behind. I was actually there the other day. A guy ordered 3 things and they screwed up every single thing, and it wasn't difficult. He wanted coffee with Splenda, and he got black coffee. He wanted 1 chocolate chip muffin. They gave him 2. And he wanted the newspaper, and they totally forgot to give it to him at all. And he walked out, and he's just like, this is just ridiculous. And he's right. So, we've been doing the Keurig coffee lately. And so we, I talked to Nicole over at Queen Bean. I'm buying these giant boxes of she calls them Q cups, but it's the K cups for the Keurig machine. And, I got to tell you, it's the one difference I get, and maybe I just got to start using different cups, is that when you pour the coffee in the mug, it gets cold really quick. That's my big complaint about doing coffee at home. But the Dunkin' cups, they just keep it warm for like hours. So I don't know. That's my gripe for the day. That's my gripe. But though, I wanted to thank all 4 of those guys. They've really helped us out, and it's not something we forget. We love the support. As always, you can find this and the back episodes of our podcast at our website, ordinarymarathon.com. You can also find over there our Couch to 5K program that Stephanie is doing and just starting. Her first workout is tomorrow. You can find that over there. You can also find the podcast at our YouTube channel, along with Stephanie's Couch to 5K program, and some other videos over there as well. We're going to have a trailer, I think, for the Ordinary Marathon. That's going to be coming out next week, just before registration opens. And what else we got? We got our Twitter account at Ord Marathoner. That's ORD Marathoner. You follow me there, I'll follow you back. And we also have our Facebook discussion group. It is a closed group. It's called Ordinary Marathoners. It's a great group of people, a lot of support over there. Really some, just positive support. If you have questions, you have comments, you want to post your run, you want to do any of that stuff, it's really a cool place to hang out. It's one of the things I'm most proud of when it comes to the podcast is our discussion group. So on to my New Year's resolution. Geez, I'm like 9 minutes through here. It's like I've been chit-chatting like crazy. Now I've done this podcast like 6 or 7 times, and I'm just totally scrapping with the things that I talked about in that podcast because I kind of went on some rants, and they just were meaningless. So, I guess let's start here. Let's start with the whole reason for New Year's resolutions. And, I understand, some people are kind of against the resolution. They don't like them. And typically the reason is, why are you going to change everything in your life so drastically on one day? Why do you think you can just do that and flick a switch and change it? You should be making changes all along, subtle changes all along that just help. And they're more realistic, because if you make a drastic change on one day, the likeliness of you failing is super high. And you're just setting yourself up for failure. And I get that. I totally get that. And, it's the reason why gyms are so crowded that first week in January, but they start thinning out right away. And by February, it's all back to normal again. And the crowd is all thinned out again. It's because people have failed with their New Year's resolutions. Now, the difference that I see, and the reason why I do these, and I do put out resolutions every year, is that, I think it's always good to sort of stop, take a step back, and sort of grab like an aerial view of your life and what's going on and what are you doing every day? Are you stuck in a rut? Do you not have a good routine? Are you getting closer to achieving the goals you want to achieve in life? I know that sometimes what happens is you get in these sort of in the rut, and stuck in the malaise of day to day, where you wake up, you go to work, you come home, you eat dinner, you watch TV, you go to sleep, rinse, repeat over and over. Before you know it, you're 44 years old, you're playing Madden all day and you've got nothing accomplished. Yet I don't know anyone like that, do I? Anyway, that could be me lately. Anyway, but yeah, so, it's just sort of nice to stop and say, hey, where am I in life? What am I doing? What am I doing with myself? What am I doing? What about my relationships, the people around me? Am I nurturing them, or am I shutting down? Am I setting a good example for my kids? And really, that was my New Year's resolution from last year. I actually went back and listened to the podcast from last year's New Year's resolution special, and which I've done now. I think this will be the third year, but I've actually done blogs in the past. So I've done this every year for, I want to say 5 or 6 years. And, varying degrees of success with the resolution. So last year's was just, set a good example for my daughter, Sam. Obviously we have another daughter here now. Ellie was born November 22nd. So now I have 2 people to set a good example for. And, I would say good and bad with that resolution. It was bad in that I really felt like I could finish Lake Placid in January last year. I gained a ton of weight. I didn't train properly. I didn't, in that respect, in going after Lake Placid and Ironman again, last year, I was a complete and total failure. That being said, there's a whole lot of things. I mean, we got to take Samantha up to Lake Placid, and even though I didn't finish, I think, I told her in advance that I was not in good shape and I might not finish. She kind of knew. And now she knows what it takes. Well, she doesn't know what it takes. She knows that it takes more than what I gave. And right away, we spent the time up there, and she loved being up there. She loved the environment, the atmosphere, being around all these athletes, these incredible people. Really the whole day. She loved being at the lake at Mirror Lake. She swam in it. She went fishing. She did some really fun stuff. I don't think she'll ever forget that weekend. And, when I finished and DNF'd, when I DNF'd, we went and we sat and we watched all the people coming in and finishing. And it was incredible. It's incredible to watch all that hard work pay off for people over and over again. So I said to her, is this something you want to see Dad do? Cause what happened 2 years ago when I did it. And, it's a lot of training. It's a lot of hard work, and I'm going to have to really dedicate myself. And she's like, yeah, I want to see you finish, Dad. I want to watch you, race it again and finish. And, immediately I signed up for it again next year and started training. And really it's a tale of 2 years for me. The first half of the year, look, I had I wasn't in a good routine, and I'm using that phrasing for a reason. But I wasn't in a good routine. I listened to the podcast from last year. I was sick. I entered last year having the flu. Stephanie and I had the flu. My gym closed that I go for at lunch, and I signed up for another gym that was just a disaster. The Craigslist gym, where everything was, I call it that because I feel like all the equipment was bought on Craigslist. Nothing was the same. It was all different. There was no similar manufacturers or anything like that. It was a disaster. And it was tough for me to go because I was so used to going to my own gym, and which I was comfortable with, and it was never really crowded, and the showers were nice, the locker room was nice, everything was good. This place was a disaster that I went to, and and I know it kind of seems a little. It threw me off my routine, and I could never embrace it. I could never embrace a new routine in that gym, and it. Eventually my old gym opened back up again, and I started working out again at lunch. It was good. But I was really thrown off. I couldn't get it back. I just couldn't get it back. Stephanie had kidney stones a couple times. We're in the emergency room a couple times. Obviously we went through pregnancy. Stephanie had really bad morning sickness the whole first trimester. And, we just had a lot of things going on. And look, it's an excuse. I don't like giving excuses, but that's kind of what happened in our year. And then the second half of the year, once we went to Lake Placid and I DNF'd. And, I'm going to, I don't want to pat myself on the back for a DNF, but I kind of knew I wasn't going to finish, yet I started anyway. And I don't know that I would have done that if Sam wasn't there. So I tried my best to set an example for her. I guess really I set myself up. And maybe I didn't set a great example by DNFing. I mean, I don't think but I didn't set a horrible example in the fact that I did try. No, I didn't finish it, but I did try, and now I've set myself up for next year. And hopefully, I'll continue doing what I'm doing, which has been good, solid training. Well, the last few weeks I've been a little bit off, but, once she said, I want to see you finish, the switch flicked and I was on. I was training twice a day. It was, spreadsheets. I did a whole YouTube video on my spreadsheet, which I just update all the time. Weighing myself every day, trying to be on the diet, even though I really haven't been that great. In the second half of sort of, I guess, the fourth quarter, I wasn't that great with the diet, but, I have been losing weight. I was 236 or 237 when I got from Lake Placid, and I think I was 225 or 226 this morning. I've been as low as 222. I'm going to get that trajectory back, going through the holidays. I just, with the baby being born, it's been a little tough lately, but, I ran the Hartford Marathon in October and I PR'd it. So coming from a DNF in the Ironman to a marathon PR, I mean, geez, that's a pretty big, improvement there. So I'm thrilled with that. I'm happy with that. And, I broke through 5 hours, something I never did before, and things are, we're going good. Now we had the baby. And geez, it didn't really seem like everything was changing for us. Our luck was changing a little, but I think I mentioned before is I'm kind of between jobs now. I got laid off December 21. So it's nice to have a baby on Thanksgiving and then a month later get laid off, which I knew was coming, 4 days before Christmas. And, unfortunately I'm really not allowed to elaborate on all that, but you guys can read between the lines, I guess. And if anyone's got any job openings for me, I'm all ears. I got my resume ready, but no, it's just part of the ordeal. And I would say that for a week or two after Thanksgiving, when Ellie was born, I was still pretty focused and doing well. I've still been biking pretty often. I took my bike in for another fitting, just a little adjustment with the seat because I just was having some pain down where you shouldn't have pain. By the way, I think that the person who invented the phrase numbnuts must have been a cyclist. Yeah, that's just that's just what I came up with from my ordeal, my cycling ordeal. But, yeah, so, overall, if I take a step back and I look at 2018 from a personal perspective, good stuff, bad stuff, as far as Samantha's concerned, set a good example. Yeah, I think I'm doing okay. I think as a dad, I'm doing okay. Even though I did steal her playroom from her, that's just that's the consequences that you face from not being a neat and clean and responsible person. Daddy takes over your playroom. She wanted to be involved in triathlon when we got up to Lake Placid. She really loved it. And one of the things that she did was she joined a group from school. They have this thing called Girls on the Run. It's an after school program. And, they trained her twice a week and got her to do a 5K. And she did her own 5K. She ran it with her friend Emma. And, I couldn't be prouder. As a dad, I couldn't be prouder. What a great thing. A great job that they did. We're trying to get some of the representatives from Girls on the Run to come in and be on the podcast with us. Hopefully we'll get that sometime in January. But yeah, she's been doing great. And I mean, I can't complain. So I think personally, I want to be down on myself for not finishing Lake Placid, but I think on a positive note, we've done some good things, we've done some good things here. So, and when I think of good things and doing good things in 2018, I also think of the Ordinary Marathon. I think of raising money for charity. We've done a lot of that in the past year. We're going to be doing a lot of that going forward. So I do want to kind of give you an update also on the podcast as a whole, because I know last year, so the first year we did this, we were at it for like 6 months, and I didn't really know what to expect doing the podcast. I just had a lot of guests on, people I knew, people I met online, and we had a good time with it. I think we had 2,000 downloads for the first 6 months, which, I don't know. I don't know what's good. I really honestly, I don't know what's good, what's bad. And then last year, on top of that, now I think I said it was like 20,000. Maybe I was rounding, or maybe I was taking the total number, didn't realize they didn't back out 2016, sorry. So basically we had 2,000 downloads in 2016. We had something like 18 or 19,000 downloads in 2017. And when that happened and I saw that, I just thought to myself, wow, like this is just exponentially going to grow. As all I got to do is keep putting out podcasts, and thing is just going to go nuts. It's going to just grow and grow and grow. And I think when I did that Ironman, the successful Ironman podcast was the most listened to podcast. We had about 500 downloads for one podcast, which was great for us. And I just kind of expected that momentum to follow through to this year. And really, it didn't. And I checked the numbers the other day, 11,000 downloads in 2018. So we are down, a bunch. We're down a lot. And it's frustrating. I'll admit, it's frustrating as a podcaster to kind of we're not making money off of this. This is all love. This is done out of love for you guys. And it's fun. And I get to meet some really cool people. We've done a lot of good things. a lot of things I'm proud of here. But it is a little disheartening that, we did almost a podcast a week, and we went down in listeners. Now, there's a lot of reasons for this. Number one, I rely on word of mouth advertising. I don't really put myself out there that much. I don't have a marketing budget. Really, all my budget is spent on doing stuff that I want to do, and not necessarily paying advertisers or anything like that. I pay money to do this. It's not a business venture that's making money for us. Maybe one day, sure, I would love that. And I think if we worked hard at it and we had extra time and all that stuff, maybe one day we could do that and develop it that way. But for now, my focus is just to try to put out a good product. And, so to see it go down like this was disheartening. But, podcasting in general is, it's a very weird thing, and it's ever expanding in terms of listenership in general as a whole. But it's also ever expanding in terms of the people that are creating podcasts. And, it seems like everyone and their mother has a podcast these days. It's almost like the new business card, where it's like, instead of like handing out a resume, it's like, oh, here's my resume, and also here is the address for my podcast that I do. It's almost like you have to have one. So with all the supply, this is the excuse I'm making again. With all the supply out there and listening, options for listeners to take to reel in, maybe I shouldn't have been that surprised that listenership went down, but. On the other hand, what, you guys, I know there's a lot of you guys that have been listening. We also have the YouTube channel out, which, all right, it's taken some of the listeners from. I think some of the people who used to listen are now listening on YouTube, which doesn't really show up in the numbers. But, I don't know. It's a little frustrating for me. But, I don't know. It's not going to affect the way I do things. And, the fact of the matter is I do see some of what other people do out there. And it's almost like dirty pool. It's like little conniving tricks to get people to go to their website or get people to listen to their podcast or watch their YouTube channel. And I don't like playing those tricks and those games and begging people to put up this podcast for me because, I want it to go viral or whatever. Like, I don't do any of that stuff. And I see a lot of people, and I'm not saying that's awful or bad. And some people do it fine and some people do it the right way. And, I think if you're ingrained, if someone was ingrained in my community, and wanted to post something of their own, they can. And people have posted their blogs and that's cool. That's fine by me. If you're involved in the community, you want to help out, you want to post some stuff, I think that's fine by me. I just don't like when it's, hey, I haven't been around, I don't know you, you don't know me, but here's my stuff and here's my, and it's in your face. Or, I don't know. I see a lot of things and I think, I don't know. There's a certain flavor too, and there's a certain flavor of people. And I think what happens is it almost looks like it's so easy to just come up with your own podcast, your own YouTube channel and become rich. And I see people out there and it's almost like they want the dream like that. And here's a news flash. It doesn't happen that way. People make a lot of money. They put a lot of work into it. The people that make a lot of money, they do. And maybe there's a couple of exceptions and maybe there are easier ways to do things. And I'm sure that maybe I can make more money off of this thing, but it's not my dream to do that. And I'm sure that other people see it as a potential easy way to make a ton of money. And, it's that whole sort of, I think we've gotten ingrained in this culture of, I want to make a ton of money and do a little work, right? And really, it sounds like a wonderful idea, but at what expense? And one of the guys I see all the time, and I don't know if this is related or not, but one of the guys I see all the time is this marathon investigator guy. And I like his work. I do. He finds a lot of people that cheat more than you can imagine, that cheat in big races, who cut the course, who don't run the whole way and then claim, to have finished a marathon or post on their social media about how they just PR'd. Or one guy was like some politician from Washington lately I saw. He didn't run 2 laps around the lake. He ran 1, and it turned out he ran a 2:45 marathon, which would have won. But they had a guy on a bicycle riding with the leader. So they knew who the leader was, and they knew it wasn't this guy. This guy then tried to qualify for Boston, and marathon investigator guy found him and outed him, rightfully so. And it's funny, you see these guys get outed, and you think they'd just give up and say like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I screwed up. But every single one of them, they stick with the lie and they go with it. They don't think it's possible they can get caught until the evidence is so overwhelming that they get caught. And it drives me nuts because it's like, why are we doing this? It's almost like all these cheaters that this guy catches, it's like, I don't know. And I think about sort of in the population, like 5% of the people you meet are going to be douchebags, right? It's just sort of the average that you're going to get. And the problem is these guys are just, I don't know, maybe I'm just running into them at a higher interval, but it just seems to me like nobody wants to do any work anymore and they just want a free ride. And I don't like it. And it bothers me. And I've never been that way. And I hope you guys aren't either. It just, I don't know. This is sort of my little rant, I guess. But yeah, it's just sort of like a cultural shift that I'm seeing. And I'm not sure if it's something that maybe it's internet age involved, or maybe it has to do with the Kardashian whole thing where it's, what are they famous for? They're famous for being famous. They didn't really do anything. And yeah, like I see that Kim Kardashian puts out like a coffee table book of pictures of selfies. Can you imagine the nerve of someone taking selfies and then just putting it into a book and saying, here, buy my selfies. Are you kidding me? Where are we as a culture, people? I don't know. So that drives me nuts. And I think this kind of had a little bit to do with why I haven't put out this podcast lately. It's just, I've been in this, I work hard. 9-to-5 job, keeping together with, with the family. Now I find myself out of work and I want to work. It's just I have to find a new job. And so it's like it's a whole new thing. And now that I'm home all day, it's getting into a new routine. Right. And when I thought about it, and the last few weeks, I've had a hard time sticking with my training schedule. Now you'd think it'd be easy. You'd think it'd be like, Scott, you got all day. Like, why are you not doing 2 workouts a day when you have all the time in the world? And the answer is, and this is from what I've kind of gathered about myself, is that I don't have that routine. I am a creature of habit. I need a routine. I need to kind of do the same thing every day, all the time. And then I grab onto it and I embrace it. And it's like, it's not that I want to work out. It's that I need to work out. That's when I'm in that good mode. It's like a disciplinary thing. And it's almost, it's almost physiological. It's like, it's ingrained in me that once it's in the routine, that's what I do and that's what I accomplish. And that, and so now I'm off my routine, right? Cause I'm not going to work. So I don't have that 1 hour lunch break that I'm getting out and going to the gym and then coming back to work and then going home and eating dinner and hanging out with the family, put my daughter to bed, going to work out again. It's different now. Now it's, put my resume together, reach out to people looking for jobs, looking for opening, do all this stuff, keep talking to my contacts, all that stuff. And I'm off the routine. Now I'm home with the baby and Stephanie's got on maternity leave, but still it's, feed the baby, change the baby, put the baby down for a nap, and we're doing it together, which is great. And it's actually kind of neat that we're together doing it and we can do it, raising our child together as opposed to me being at work all the time. It's been some really valuable hours, but it's time for me to get back to work. And this is this is where my resolution for next year comes in. And it's, I'm sick and tired of hearing myself whine and come up with excuses of doing things. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of, being a little bit overweight and using that as as an excuse not to perform well. Well, I can't break a 4.5 hour marathon. Well, why not? Well, I weigh 230 pounds. Well, you know what? I'm sick of that excuse. And the way to finish that is to just set it into my routine that I'm not going to be that way. Set the routine so that I'm busy and not eating and, hanging out with my daughter all morning and just popping food in my mouth while I'm not working out. And so, I think the idea for me, and now that I've kind of moved the office down here, it's to set a routine, and it's embrace the routine. It's rely on the routine. See it through. Make sure you have one. Make sure, it's a good routine. Make sure that you're being efficient with your time. And I feel like once I get that routine down, it's going to be, wake up in the morning, either work out or get involved with the podcast and do things here. Because now that I have this time, why shouldn't I be doing more for the podcast and the Ordinary Marathon and the YouTube channel? We can develop these things more. And, it may not be a substitute income wise for a job, but, it certainly could at least help maybe avoid another downtick in downloads next year. Maybe this is the year. Maybe this is the year. I just got to stick with it. And I think, when I say that, I'm saying that out loud to you guys because maybe you guys are the same. And I don't know if you're the same, but maybe you're the same. Maybe you need that routine. Maybe you have that routine. Maybe the routine isn't good. Maybe the routine needs some updating. Maybe it needs maybe you need to sit down with yourself, take out a pen and paper and say, look, this is what I normally do every day. I wake up at this time. I go to work. I eat lunch. I can go to the gym or I can't. I come home. Do I cook dinner? Do I eat dinner out? Where's this time? Where is the time? Where can I steal time to benefit myself and forward? Remember I talked about that day-to-day malaise, that rut. Where can I get out? Where can I afford to get out of that rut? Where can I, take steps to eliminate, are you watching too much TV? That's Stephanie's thing, by the way. I don't know if she can hear me now when I podcast. She's upstairs. She might be able to hear me, so I don't want to talk too loud. I'll get in trouble. But her thing is Netflix, and it's Hulu, and it's watching, binge watching show after show. She will go through, 6 seasons of a show in less than a month if, she's left her own, her own self during the day. For me lately, it's been, and I hate to admit this, it's been Madden. I've been playing Madden. And I get into these video game ruts, and I'm 44 years old, and I know maybe I shouldn't. And look, I'll be honest. When I did this podcast the last 6-7 times, I go off on this Madden rant, and I'm just not going to do it this time, because I hate the game. It's not that I hate the game. There's a lot of things about the game I don't like. And when I look at it from a distance as a parent, I'm like, they prey on you in certain ways. And for me, one of the things, the ways I get hooked on these games is I like to build things. I like to build dynasties in games. I like to build, I like if I spend time in a game, I like it to build up and help me in another way, like sort of earning new things and being bigger and better. And there's ways to do that in this game. And I kind of got hooked, and literally, you know what it was? It was, all right, feed the baby at 11 and, make sure the baby goes to sleep. And I'm sitting here playing video games. Before I know it, the baby's asleep. Stephanie's asleep. It's 1 a.m. and I'm still playing. Which means I'm not getting up early to go to the gym or do anything like that. There's no productivity in the morning. I'm waking up at 8, 9 o'clock, which I haven't done in a long, long time. It's been a long time since I could sleep till 9. And I've done that a few times in the last couple of weeks, and it's just not something I should be doing. So it's bad habits like that I got into. So, I gotta tell you, I haven't played Madden ever since the new year went across. So that was really like one of my resolutions, I guess mini resolution, was to get rid of the time wasters. And really, it's all part of the routine issue. It's the routine. Really, this is the resolution. It's find the routine. And the routine, we have to eliminate the time wasters. We have to get rid of the things that, in 5 years, right? 5 years from now, if I play Madden every day until until for a few years. And then one day I'm going to wake up and, there's going to be a new Madden, there's going to be and I'm going to turn that switch. I'm going to turn that Xbox switch off for the very last time. I'm never going to play it again. 5 years from now, I'm going to look back and all that time I spent in front of that screen is gone. It's used. It's worthless. What do I have to show for it? Nothing. You have nothing. I'm not one of these guys that's going to make a career out of playing Madden tournaments. As a matter of fact, I hate playing people one-on-one. I can't stand it. I feel like, I don't play enough to know all the ins and outs of the game. I can never be an expert. And if I wanted to make a career out of it, then I would be doing that. But I just don't, it's not in the cards for me. It's not something I want to do. It's not something I aspire to do. It's something that, I enjoy playing the game. I enjoy doing what I was doing. I got a little addicted and it's time to stop because in 5 years, I'm going to have nothing to show for all that time if I keep playing. And meanwhile, what could I be doing? I could be working out. I could be getting myself in shape, being fit, being healthy. That's something for myself. It's something for my family. I could be working on the podcast, which is something for others. I mean, we have done nothing but help other people on this podcast. We've done nothing but be charitable on this podcast. Maybe sometime down the line, this thing becomes a profitable venture. It's not really one of my immediate goals right now because I'm not here to monetize this thing at your expense. If the time comes when we have enough volume and enough scope to do something like that, I'll think about it. But it's not yet, and it's not now. I'm here to focus on making myself better. And if it helps you guys, then it helps you guys. And if it can raise money for charity, then we'll do that. And I love doing this. I love doing things like this together. I think we all make a good team. It's a good thing we got going here over at Ordinary Marathon. I'm very proud of it. And so that's really kind of where we are going forward here, folks, is, I'm going to take some time over the next week or two and I'm going to figure out exactly what I need to do to reach my goals for this year. And goal number 1 is obviously finish Lake Placid. I'm running Phoenix Marathon in like a month. I got to tell you, the last couple of weeks of training, I haven't been running a lot. I did a 10-mile run maybe a week ago. I didn't really like it. I'm not sure where I am right now. I know I made this goal of beat Oprah in this marathon. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think I'm really that close to doing it. I would like, if I did sub 5 again, I would consider that, a positive, just a positive. I would like to beat my time from Hartford. That's a good goal. I don't know right now because, the thing is sometimes some people can take off 2 or 3 weeks and be like, oh, I'm just tapering. Oh, everything's good. Everything's better. I feel like I'm not that person. I feel like I lose a lot of fitness. And so I'm going to have to battle to get that back in the next few weeks. And really, it's almost a month now. I think it's February 9 is the race. So I probably have 2 or 3 weeks of training before I have to start tapering for the marathon, which isn't my A goal. So I'm not really that concerned if I falter and don't do so well. But, I can fight for it. I can certainly fight for it. And I'm going to do that. And as a matter of fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do is right after this podcast, I am going to sit down with, I have my notebook right here. And I'm going to say to myself, well, let's do it now. Let's do it now. I still got time here. Let's do it now. All right. What would my ultimate day be now that I have time? And there's always the X factor of Ellie. Ellie is the X factor. She's 6 weeks old. And so I have to understand there's priority number 1 is family. So my routine, this routine that I'm setting forward, it can be broken up in any different time. I have to sort of accept that and do my best to stay with the routine and fight for the routine despite the fact that Ellie comes first. And if she needs, if she needs to be changed, if she needs to be watched, if Stephanie has, things that she's doing for work or things that she's got to go to doctor's appointments or if she's got to work out, I got to be there with the baby. That's just the way it is as a parent. So, and what I mean is, look, it's not like I'm shirking my responsibilities. What I'm saying is, that is my responsibility. So my routine is subject to Ellie at all times. And really Samantha too, who's 9. She takes care of herself mostly, but, coming from, her coming from a divorced family, it's almost like I do have to sort of give her a little extra attention when she's here and just make sure that she's not feeling left out. I don't want her to feel left out when she's not here. So family comes first for me. But if I had my ultimate day, what would it be? And I think, and this, I know, some of you guys are, it depends where your mind frame is and what your goals are. Now, my goals are to finish Ironman Lake Placid again this year and to do well and to do the best I can do. That, to me, that would be like the ultimate 2019 would be to like do like a 14-hour Ironman Lake Placid. I don't know if you can hear Ellie crying upstairs. This is again that new sound system going on, down in the basement, but she's crying a little bit. Anyway, so my ultimate day would be to wake up in the morning and go to the gym, preferably when it's open. Oh, I totally hear. I hope you guys can't hear. Maybe the filter will filter her out. So it would be go to the gym when it opens, 5 a.m. I wish I could be there at 5 a.m. because every time I go at 5 a.m., I feel great when I'm done. So here would be the ultimate day. Go to the gym, 5 a.m., swim. If I'm not going to the gym to swim, I should be doing something like yoga or stretching or core work, all that stuff. Lifting. I stopped lifting in September. I just stopped. I don't know why. It just didn't fit the routine. I thought the cardio and the bike was more important, so I stopped. But I should be lifting at least once, maybe twice a week. I should be doing yoga once or twice a week. I should be swimming 2 or 3 times a week. Now granted, that's more mornings than it is in the week, but, we can squeeze that in. And what I'm going to have to do is set my calendar up. And I have my spreadsheet. I can do that. I can do that on the spreadsheet and just try to make sure that I'm getting the workouts in. So the ultimate day would be wake up, go swimming, go to the gym, come back, cook a little breakfast, right around that time, 6:30, 7, that's when Ellie's starting to wake up. So we can kind of take care of her in the morning. And then it's work time. Then it's like, it's come down to the basement, the new basement office. It's, be looking for a job because I need one. Be looking for a job, try to, get in touch with my contacts, follow through with all the stuff I got, all this networking stuff I got, going through. I can work on the podcast. One thing I've been thinking about, and I don't know if this fits in the routine, but it might be something I could try, is to come home from that morning workout, sit down in front of the podcast mic and do like a 10-minute podcast every day. Just do, this is what's going on. This is how I'm feeling. This is where my focus is. This is what I'm going to do today. What are you doing today? How are you focused today? Maybe it can help people. I don't know. I don't know if that would work. I don't know if it's something I can do. I don't know if I would get bored, if I'd feel too responsible, if it takes too much time. I don't know, but it's something I could try. Maybe it'd be a cool little addition. I'd still do the interviews on the podcast. This would just be an addition. So then, you get a good morning. I get the workout in. I get breakfast. I do some work down here. Maybe I do the mini podcast. Maybe I don't. I do a little work on the computer down here. Really, it's set up as an office. It's great. Then I could do the lunch workout, right? Right before lunch, do the lunch workout. Typically when I do a run, if I'm doing a middle of the week run, I'll do it at lunch. I can do, especially now that I'm not working, it's not like I have to get back. I can do an 8-mile run at lunch. And it takes probably, it takes me 10 minute mile. So, an hour and 20 minutes. Then you hit the shower, right? And you hit the shower, you come back and you do some more work in the afternoon. Now, granted, any of this time can be interrupted by a little girl who's 6 weeks old right now. And on days that I have Sam here, I'm going to have to go pick her up at 4:30, 5 o'clock. And, and that's part of that routine. So I have 2 different days. I have days when I have Sam and I have days when I don't have Sam. I'm going to have, probably have days when I have to go interview and the workout's going to have to take a back seat those days. And that's just prioritization, right? Being on top of your priorities. But the backdrop can be a routine. And that's, again, I got to fight for the routine. Fight for your routine. That is my motto this year. And that's what I'm going to stick with. Now, we get Sam home at night, or if I don't pick her up, we still got to have dinner. I'm the guy that cooks in the house. I cook. I'm the cooker. So we're going to make dinner. We're going to do, have our dinner conversation. We're going to make sure Sam does her homework. Take her to practice if need be. She's going to be in cheer. She's going to be in basketball. So she's got, winter cheer. That's what she does. She has dance, which I'm lucky right now. It's Monday nights, which isn't my night. So I don't really have to take her to dance. But, there's recitals and stuff like that. And there's other things that she's involved in. So, I just have to be on top of that first. And then I'm actually, it's funny. The other night, I said I haven't been really good with the workout the last 2 or 3 weeks. And Sam says to me when she goes to bed, she goes, "Dad, have you been working out lately?" And I'm like, serves me right to get called out from by a 9-year-old. And you know what? Good for her, because she's there. She's the reason why I'm supposed to be doing this. So the fact that she noticed and the fact that she asked me about it is wonderful. I think it's great. So yeah, no, Daddy hasn't been working out as much lately. So, the last couple of days I have been on the bike. I've been doing pretty well with the bike. I actually didn't lose as much as I thought. I feel pretty good right now with where I am on the bike. I have to do a few things, and I gotta, I've been talking to Laura Stebbins about this. She's getting her coaching certification, and she's gonna help me out with making sure that I'm on track, making sure that I finish this damn thing this year, because there's no way I'm not finishing this year. There's no way I'm not finishing. It's just, that's, it's not happening. And the way that I get around that is by fighting for the routine, folks. It's a broken record. And that's the deal. So then, then we're going to put Sammy to bed, going to go do my workout at night. And look, I'm not going to get every single one done. And I understand that. I just hope that the ones that are key, the longer runs, the longer bikes, the more high intensity bikes, I gotta fill in with other things if I want to get fit and I want to lose this weight, and I do want to lose this weight, and I'd love to weigh 200 pounds or less for Ironman Lake Placid. And I got about 6 months to drop. I was 226. I got to drop 25 to 30 pounds in the next 6 months. Can I do that? I think I can. I just got to have that, have that routine and focus and just keep doing it. And man, I think I can. And, so I feel like I'm in a good place right now. And I know it's January 7th and I'm putting out my New Year's resolution special. So maybe I'm a little bit behind, but like I said in the beginning, why pick an arbitrary day like January 1 to start it? You can start anytime. And for me, I guess it really starts right now. It really starts tomorrow. And just to close that out, one of the other things that I need to do after I work out at night is get to bed. And it's hard with the baby and an infant to get to bed at night at a reasonable hour. But we're trying, so right now she feeds, and we're not really supposed to let her sleep too much because she's got to eat every 3 or 4 hours, but we're actually letting her sleep at night, and she's doing a great job. We put her to bed at 11:30, 12, and she wakes up 7. Today's 7:30. So, I know, knock on wood. It's been incredible. Her sleeping pattern has been great, but, the problem is that I am going to bed at midnight, and there's just no way I'm getting up at 5 a.m. if I go to bed at midnight. So, there's got to be a little bit of extra effort to try to get to bed early if I want to grab and embrace that morning workout. So yeah, I'm going to write that down because it is something I need to do. It's something that's going to help me. In the end, if I don't get the morning workouts done, but because I'm feeding the baby at 11:30, 12 at night, that's the way it's got to be, right? Again, priorities. I think Stephanie and I talked last night, we're going to be trying to inch back her bedtime. So hopefully 10:30, 10 o'clock. And that will get us to bed earlier too, which will all help. So it's all about sort of taking that step back, guys, analyzing where you are, seeing what you need. What do you need to change? Changes you need to make. Nothing big. These changes aren't huge. I used to do the morning workout every day for 6 months. So it's not like it's a huge difference for me. And I used to do the afternoons every day for years and the nights every day for years. It's just, I gotta follow through with it. And when I say that, look, I used to work out at night. I used to work out in the day. I didn't always do 2-a-days, but there's a lot of 2-a-days that needs to be done if you're going to be Ironman training. A lot of work needs to be done. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's the way we're doing it going forward. And, I wish you guys the best of luck with your resolutions. I hope, I see 2019 as an awesome year. Things are happening already. I look at the room I'm sitting in. I'm like, man, even though I could hear Ellie screaming a little bit in the background, I hope you guys, maybe this filters out a little bit. I hope you guys couldn't really hear it. But man, I'm looking at the green screen in front of me and our little studio here for our YouTube channel. I'm looking at the video that we just put out today. Stephanie's first video for the Couch to 5K program. And I'm thinking, man, those videos are going to be up there forever. And anyone at any point in time can just refer to them and get moving. Make your own routine. Start it for you. That's where you start. Those are the first steps right there. And this is what we're doing. We're putting something together. And it's not just for me and it's not, for our listeners. It's for, maybe you got a friend and someone's watching you going, hey man, how do you run those marathons? Well, hey, it starts with that first step, right? It starts, all of us took that first step. Some of you guys out there have been running all your life, but some of you guys haven't. And it's hard to take that first step. And so this is what we're doing. We're putting this thing together. It's almost like we're raising little mini ordinary marathoners. And there's nothing ordinary about a marathon. Let's get that straight. It's, I know it's kind of a silly joke, but man, it's a lot of hard work to get to that point. And a lot of people have done it. And I'm so impressed with anyone who can do that. Just finish a marathon. Finish a half marathon is an amazing accomplishment. Not many people will do it in their lifetime. But it starts with that first step. It all starts with that first step, getting healthier, getting fitter. If you want to, if you're looking to trim down a little bit, if you're looking to get into shape, if you're looking to accomplish great things, you can, it's funny. Like some people have small goals, some people have big goals, but it doesn't change that you have to work hard to earn them. And I think that's what I think heading into 2019, I think that's sort of our message here is we're going to try to make the message a little more broad, for everybody, which is go out there and crush your goals, man. Just go out and embrace them. And if you want it bad enough, work and get them. And that's what, hopefully that's what I get back in that routine and I get back to doing it. And with that, we're going to end the podcast. We're going to end the New Year's resolution special. Find the routine. Find the routine. Love the routine. Embrace the routine. I think it's going to work. And I wish you guys really good, I wish you all good luck with your resolutions. I hope you guys had a great holiday. I hope you had a wonderful new year. I hope everything's been going well for you in the new year. And look, I don't know how this is going to shake out in 2019. There's a lot of things, a lot of balls juggling in the air, that we're going to have to see where they come down because, obviously I have some time in my hands, but, I don't know how we're going to develop this thing. I'm really excited. And I hope you guys are too. So with that, we're going to sign off. I got a lot of guests that I want to bring in here, but I've been a little bit behind with all the planning and things we've been doing. We're going to get on top of that. I have the Girls on the Run people. I have Tim Murphy from Fleet Feet Longmeadow I want to have on. I want to have, Tishan Laws, on and tell his story. The guy's he's been involved with the podcast for years. I always see him kind of liking our stuff or being involved on our page. And he got involved with Ordinary Marathon. He posted a lot of pictures. He was one of the better social media guys, out there. I always see him smiling. And he must be thrilled that the Eagles won this past weekend. What a, I don't know. I almost felt like I jinxed it but then the guy hits the crossbar and he hits the upright and the crossbar in one kick. Man, poor Chicago. That's all right. Anyway, I don't know. I got a lot of people to bring on the podcast. Looking forward to all those opportunities as well. And we're going to still be doing that, even if I do sort of this daily thing that I've been mulling that around my head. We'll see what happens. We'll see what becomes of it. And until then, always remember, when it comes to running, I'm no expert. I'm just ordinary.